Miracles We Have Seen, Chapter 38. Miracle in the Jamaican Courtroom. There was no school nor church in the Windsor ghetto near St. Ann's Bay, Jamaica. The people who live there are squatters. They live illegally on government land. They had been warned many times to leave or have their little huts destroyed. These residents have ignored the warning because they have no place to go. This is one of the poorest ghettos in the country. Few, if any, have jobs. Most barely survive starvation by planting small gardens of yams, cooking bananas and other staple foods. Many of the shanties are made of scrap pieces of lumber, zinc, and bamboo. School, for most of the children, is out of the question due to book fees, required uniforms, and other expenses. We had walked through Windsor Ghetto several times. We had heard of their plight, and we wished to see firsthand the deplorable condition that existed there. We had been warned that it was not safe for whiteys to go there. We found the exact opposite to be true. Everyone was friendly and gave us friendly smiles and shouts of, "Oi sa, where gwan?" Patois for, "Hello, sir, what's happening?" Many times the children would run to meet us with hugs, but most of the time it would be the poverty-stricken mothers, peeking shyly from doorways of their tiny huts. One would implore us with heart-rending, plaintive requests such as, "Sir, would you please help us with a school? Our children have no place to go and the government will not help us." Each time we would give some answer of hope. Several times without thinking we would respond, "Yes, we will see that your children have a school." Of course, that was simply a frail promise, stemming from an admixture of faith and hope. We pled with the government to give us permission to open a small school there. Each time we were ignored or told that it was impossible. Those people, we were told, are intruders. Next, we went to the local authorities, the parish council, and were told the same story. But we could not get those precious mothers or their kids out of our minds. We had to do something. We began to pray then. A possible solution presented itself. A church in Indiana, Church of Praise, visited the area, heard the story, and felt the same urgency of the Spirit to do something to help the abandoned, forgotten families at Windsor. Soon a plan was put in place. A team of enthusiastic workers came from the Church of Praise to Jamaica. Their goal was to build a church and a school building in 3 days. The results were incredible. In 3 days, those dedicated men and a few ladies who came to cook for the men achieved their objective. No one in that part of Jamaica had ever seen such unity, fervor, and skill. Everyone was amazed after 3 days to see a brand new school church standing in their impoverished community. A dedication service was hastily scheduled. The neighborhood was invited. They came and filled their shining new building. They sang, waved their hands, and praised. Some shouted for joy. They had a new school. Pastor Moses had a new church. Celebration reigned in Windsor Ghetto. In a few days, the school opened and was soon filled with little boys and girls wearing beautiful new uniforms and carrying spiffy book bags on their backpack items. They had been donated by men and women from the Church of Praise. Soon a new Sunday school and church had been organized under the leadership of Pastor Philip Moses. Things looked so promising. Everything had been accomplished without a single problem. We all rejoiced and breathed a great sigh of relief. Then the enemy struck. Within a few weeks of school opening, the basic school was visited by the St. Anne Parish Council, which has power to approve or condemn all building programs. They were furious. They sent a summons to Pastor Jack Terry to appear immediately at the parish courtroom for a hearing. In the meantime, according to the mandate, we were given 3 options. One would be to raise the building. The second would be to pay $1 million in fines. The third was to spend a term in Kingston Prison that had been rated the second worst prison in the world by Amnesty International. They all sounded grim and unreasonable. We did not wish to comply with any of the choices. We began to pray. We notified prayer warriors in America and Jamaica. We were compelled to appear for the hearing the very next day. It would be a long night of prayer and fasting. Winona was in America with Janelle Hamilton, and we did not wish to worry her. It was a long, lonely Gethsemane. We could only pray and wait the verdict. The next morning, I summoned some of our church leaders and pastors to accompany me to the parish council trial. We all agreed to pray for the judge and for the preservation of our precious schoolhouse. Then the legal proceedings began. The judge, dressed in a black robe, looked somberly at me and began to read the long list of crimes I had committed. The prosecutor, I believe that was her position, stared at me. The judge led the list of transcriptions. I could only listen, pray, and hope. Finally, the judge paused and said, "Mr. Terry, are you aware of all the laws you have broken?" I complied with a nod and somewhat unsteady, "Yes, sir." "Then tell us, Mr. Terry, what reason compelled you to do these actions and to break our laws?" The room became deathly still. I could feel my pulse racing and also sense the burdened prayers of my colleagues sitting in the back row of the courtroom. Then I felt a divine nudge, and a supernatural wave of courage filled my entire being. I knew what I must say. "Sir, I agree with all that you have said. I knew we were breaking the laws of this parish by building that school. I am guilty, Your Honor." All eyes were on me as I continued. "Let me show you why we did it." I pulled out a stack of 8 by 10 photographs of the many children enrolled in our new school. I handed them first to the lady prosecutor. She looked at one picture after another of those beautiful little boys and girls from the ghetto. We saw her features soften. She looked at me and smiled, then passed them to the judge. Time seemed to stand still as this powerful figure of authority looked at the smiling faces of over 50 Jamaican children. After what seemed like an eternity, the judge looked at me with a stern expression on his face. It was now time for the verdict. My inner man was praying and praising with all my mind. Then the judge spoke. "Mr. Terry," the judge spoke with a different voice, "we are parents also. We do care about little children and their education," he added. Then the judge did something I will never forget as long as I live. He stood up and made the following proclamation. "Mr. Terry, congratulations on the great work you are doing in Jamaica. Keep up the good work." We were then dismissed from the courtroom. Outside the courtroom, a wild celebration exploded. Hugs, praises to God, impromptu dances, and a static rush of words all blended together in a medley of festive joy. We were set free. The building will stand. We are approved. This festive mood lasted throughout the entire day. Then reports come from every direction. Many from Jamaica, and even more, it seemed, from America. They all said the same thing. We were praying. We were standing with you, and many said, we knew that God would spare that little ghetto church and school. Someday we hope you will come to Jamaica and visit Windsor Community. You will be welcomed by the smiles, greetings, and hugs of many children. You will hear words of gratitude and thanks from teachers and parents. We think you would feel that perhaps this is a sacred spot. At one time, this area was considered one of the most dangerous refugee ghettos in Jamaica. Today, an American can walk here in complete safety. Everyone in this place would, I feel, certainly protect you with their own lives. They would recognize you as part of the people who brought a school for their children. Sometimes the Good Shepherd leads us through the valley of the shadow of death. Perhaps you're going through a perilous journey at this time. While we cannot always see beyond that dark valley, we yet must walk close to the Shepherd who promises that goodness and mercy will follow us all the days of our lives. Psalm 23.